Hey Alexis, did you
Hey.
know that there's a nocturnal mammal in Asia, Africa that is called a civet cat and it plays a big role in the coffee world?
I have no idea. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm trying to imagine. I'm like, I
You
don't
should
know
look
what
at a
that is.
picture. They're so cute.
I
I don't
should.
there's not an animal I think of that like I can tell you that you'll probably think of it. It's kind of like a not a wild cat, or wild dog, sorry. They like have the same patterns, but
Uh-huh.
the civet cat is like longer and like I don't know how to explain it. He has rings in his tail. Anyways, look it up.
Okay, I will. I will.
But anyways, so they will eat coffee cherries and then ferment them through digestion and produce what's called a kopi luwak, which
Mhm.
is civet coffee, one of the most expensive coffees in the world. And so basically, they just produce coffee out of
Wow.
eating cherries.
An animal that produces coffee.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So I imagine that we are exploiting the crap out of it.
yeah. You'd be correct.
Yeah.
Not only, I mean, like, think of it this way. If somebody's not turned off over the fact that you're eating coffee made from animal feces, then I think you will probably not be surprised at the fact that there's probably an unethical, facility
Yeah.
that's, exploiting, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's speculation. It's not 100% proven. There has been like video footage by an undercover PETA member
Mm-hmm.
that they keep the animals in cages
Mm-hmm.
and will just basically like starve them. And then,
Mm.
anyways, but there's a lot going on with it. But that's just speculation, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe that that's not it. But also, considering civet coffee is really expensive, I don't think a lot of people here
Yeah.
would like be using it as much just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure it has a lot of like tariffs on it when it comes in.
I'm sure.
But anyways, one of the things I was gonna go and talk about when talking about this a little bit is ethical coffee. But before we get into that, I'm gonna say welcome back. Welcome to Green
Welcome
Thread.
back, guys. We're back.
As always, it's Allie.
And Alexis.
If you were listening audibly, you are missing out on some cool, exclusive pre-episode content. So
Yeah,
definitely go check it out.
pre-gaming the episode. You're missing out on it. Come pre-game the episode with us when you watch it.
Literally couldn't have said that better. But without further ado, let's get into some sustainable coffee consumption. So there's always going to be, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, like symbols you can look for when it comes to like sustainable consumption. With coffee, I feel like there's so many people that can't survive without it,
Oh yeah.
which perks to you. My ADD, literally, I go to sleep if I drink coffee. But I do like the smell and the taste, and I know what it feels like to wake up in the morning and know that you're not going to be a human being until you have that cup of coffee. So perks to you, and I'm very jealous that you can have it. But with that being said, obviously that means there's going to be a lot of different places that have to or selling coffee because there's a lot of consumer demand. Which leads me to the whole thing about like the symbols to look for. Fear not. Starbucks is one of them that do well with it. So if you were like, well, crap, I hope that, I've been, consuming coffee from a sustainable
Yeah.
brand. They do. They do. Same with Dunkin'. They are about to be 100%.
Okay.
They just signed something. It's going to be 100% responsible coffee brand by 2025. So
Oh wow. So next year. Oh my god. Wow.
I love Dunkin', so I was very excited.
A
to
win
hear
for
that.
you.
Yeah. But one of the main things I know of that come with like sustainable associations is Rainforest Alliance and Fair Trade, which are certified coffee for sustainable sourcing, and they're part of what's called an ISEAL, which is a worldwide association that basically just makes sure that companies have they sustainably resource their product. But with specific, like when I was talking about Starbucks, so they actually source 99% of their coffee through what's called, it's kind of funny, it's called CAFE, but it's a acronym for Coffee Informer Equity. So keep supporting. Now there has been some controversy around some Starbucks stuff that's been happening.
Yeah.
But as far as their product, that's what
Yeah.
we're focusing on today.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But I would say I don't know. Do you drink coffee?
I really don't. I have a very weird palate. And so I don't know. It's not very weird with coffee because a lot of people don't like coffee, but the taste of coffee to me is so strong
Yeah.
that I just can't do it. I'll drink an iced coffee every now and then when I really feel like I need something, or even if I just want a sweet treat, I'll just get an iced coffee. But I mainly like teas or, other things. I like matcha, I like
Oh my
chai.
God, yes.
I love a good iced matcha or iced chai. Heavenly.
Gonna make me drool.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that. I know whenever I get like when I go with my friends to get coffee and I get the matcha and they look at me and they're like, "Why are you drinking grass?" And I'm like,
Why are you
Hey.
not? Like, what's wrong with it?
"Hey." There's a coffee shop actually that's in downtown around where I live, and they make the best like matcha. It literally does taste like grass.
Yeah.
In defense of my
Wow.
friends, but it's like good grass.
Yeah. If grass tasted good, then it's that.
Oh Lord. But there's a lot of things that I think like trend wise that go with coffee. Like people will see, coffee orders. I am guilty of like taking pictures of my Starbucks order and posting on my story and being like, "This was so good, you should try it."
Yeah.
But I think that has become a big thing recently, especially with like TikTok. I know a lot of people have been having a high demand of like Starbucks, Dunkin'. Oh God, there's probably so many that I won't be able to name on the spot, but it's just causing a lot of like consumer and producer demand, and I think that puts pressure on the coffee supply, which then makes it to where they're not able to like ethically and sustainably source their coffee.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think of the coffee beans. I mean, we're thinking of it as it's coming out of the
Right.
the coffee machine. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's hard to do the backwards triangle of like thinking of the smaller, like biggest to smallest. So just, sustainability in itself is just, sourcing something at the same rate it's able to be, recycled back. So if somebody's taking or harvesting a lot of like coffee plants and coffee beans, then we're end of the day not only is the price is going to go up, but we're not going to have any more of that source. And going back to the Civet Cat, who knows like where, I mean, you'll have to find out where your coffee's coming from.
Yeah.
But, if we're not treating that resource with respect and layman's terms, then, what are we doing?
Yeah, and it's almost comparable to fast fashion because
Yeah.
you have to think about where your things are coming from, and especially with influences such as social media, TikTok, Instagram, whatever social media you may use. It's important to think about these things because whenever that starts to blow up as a trend, or, oh, look at my coffee order, look at mine, look at the cute cup they're selling, look at this, they added this to the menu, and people are just going and ordering it, and it's starting to be consumed at a faster rate than it can be produced.
Yeah.
Then those companies are almost forced to resort to unethical things, which truly they aren't, and they can say stay ethical, but that's not good for their pockets, so they're not going to.
Yep.
So, same thing with fast fashion. It's not sustainable for their wallets, so they're not going to care. But yeah, we should really look at where our things are coming from.
I know. And I mean, the fact that like TikTok is also relying on AI, and so like, your algorithm, you build your FYP, and honestly sometimes I'm a little embarrassed by my FYP.
I was about to say, I don't know what type of house I've built, but
You live here.
yeah, I live on that FYP, I guess.
But like that, the AI that's going into like, what you've researched or what things you are interested in. So if you're interested in coffee consumption and like what kind of Starbucks orders you want to try the next time, those also are just energy consumption in and of itself. I mean, I didn't really know much about the advances in AI hardware before like this podcast, but as I got into it, because I was very guilty of using ChatGPT in school, but also like for extracurriculars and inspiration, a lot of times I would just be like, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I think after learning just how like harmful it can be, I think it's really good to be transparent about what, the downsides and the upsides may be about it. I think there was a paper that I found, and it was basically where somebody had done a research project where they found that there was a projection that AI would consume like roughly 35 to 160% by the end of 2030s.
Oh, wow.
Versus right now where it's like it's already like 1.6 billion mega something watts.
Yeah, something that we can't even comprehend really or picture.
Yeah, no, I am not a computer whiz. You have to forgive me there, but I was just amazed to see how like fast that it's going. I mean, I know that our generation, Gen Z, has been growing up with technology since we were basically born. And now kids are
Yeah.
having iPads when they were really young, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, no. But like all these new things are advancing with it. It's honestly going way too fast, in my opinion.
I agree. And like you said, we've grown up with technology, but the way that it's starting to take off now, which AI has been around, but in the past 2 or 3 years, where now we have generative AI and it can be used by anyone. It is open, it's free, and anyone can use it. So the fact that it is being used so widely and that it's always being improved upon because people are starting to use it more and more, so problems are being found. So of course they want to improve that as quickly as possible,
Yep.
essentially make more money from it. It's using an insane amount of energy to make these advances and for that many people to be using it at one time and to keep all these things going for the entire public to use. It's insane to think about.
Yeah, I know. And I, after learning all of it, you're like, oh, well, crap, I do rely on it a lot. And how do I not? I mean, it's there. Even when what really enrages me, though, is when you do it, it happens involuntarily. So, like, you're looking on Google and now AI Google.
Yes,
just
that
pops up.
feature. I mean, we've been growing up doing Google searches basically our whole lives. And so searching on Google and you're just looking for the first one that comes up because that's typically the most reliable one. And I get this whole AI paragraph. I'm like, okay, that could be useful in some sense, but I just, I'm just trying to search for something else. I don't necessarily need this whole generative spiel.
Yeah.
I don't need a spiel generated. I know what I'm looking for, so I just want to find it. And that is insane that it has been implemented into Google searches. It's so new and it's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, perks to it, like finding keywords and just, pushing something in front of you, being like, this is what you need to look at. But at the same time, if you are very, like, aware of what's the negative impacts of AI, then you're like, well, crap, hold on. I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
Like, that you're basically not giving me, it's an unconsensual. But I do know, I did find from nature.com did say that if they're able to like reduce the amount of like energy costing hardware to use for like AI, and that does mean that we have to hold the companies accountable that have those like, resources to test AI. But if we're able to, focus in on what a hardware is costing us to improve AI, then we can ultimately cut down the amount of energy consumption that AI is able to do as we increase our usage of it. Because truthfully, I don't think it's going anywhere.
It's not going away. And I was telling a professor about this the other day because we were talking about it in the sense of using it for assignments or using it to help out with school and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, which that's a whole other thing. But I told them, it's not going to go away. Professors, teachers of all ages for all age groups might as well accept it now.
Yeah.
It's almost like whenever Quizlet and other apps where you could take pictures of your homework, when all of that started coming out. I remember in middle school and high school, all these things started coming out and teachers are like, well, you can't have your phones, you can't have blah, blah, but phones aren't going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. If anything, these things are just going to become more prominent, especially AI. I mean, phones are already prominent. Everybody has one. We record on one. I've got mine right here. Everyone has a smartphone, and AI is going to become the same way, I think. Everyone is going to have some type of hand in AI.
Yep. And at one hand, maybe it'll help some people who are, this sounds rude, who are a little lazy in their searches. So they do pick the first thing that pops up. But at the same time, like, if you become too dependent on it, it's never going to end well. And that is shown in people who are dependent on technology now.
Absolutely.
Just for everything. I mean, like, whenever I go somewhere I don't know where I am, I
Yeah.
do unfortunately not know very well how to read a map.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah.
I do, I promise. But I like to have my GPS on, and when I have no signal, then I'm just screwed. But it's just a whole reconciliation of like, oh my God, I'm subject to this too. Like I didn't mean to be. I don't want to be dependent on it. It just happened, and I don't know. It's just a little scary.
Yeah, it is a little bit scary.
It's just a little scary. But I would just follow. The best thing I could say is just follow along with the research that's being projected, because I think the main thing is that it's not just like researchers who are trying to inform the public. They're trying to inform the companies, which most of them, happen to be the ones who have the resources to make AI. But they're trying to show them this data. It's like, this is going to get worse, or you have to find a more sustainable way of, maybe sustainable CPUs and there's other computer hardware that you can use to help these things like progress at a slower rate than what we're able to refurbish. And those companies are probably like, I didn't know that. I'm just giving money.
Yeah.
Like, they're just housing. But because it's also like these researchers are saying, well, you have to change your architecture of your buildings, of your equipment, your technology, and they're probably the oh my God, CEO. I was trying to think of the word. They're probably like, yeah. No, that's too expensive. Or like, I don't see the...
Takes too much time,
Exactly.
too expensive, not worth my time, blah, blah.
Yep. So it's just a matter of being transparent and realizing that the numbers do matter, especially in things like this where we are still learning the power of it and how it can influence the public. Because we were just talking about like how we don't even mean to have AI pop up when we're just trying to find something on Google. So... it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and like we said, it's not going away anytime soon. So listen to your scientists, okay?
Yeah.
Listen to your scientists. Listen to people who know their stuff, and take them seriously. Science is real. Energy consumption is real. So please do your research. Listen to these people. Encourage these companies. Call them. Talk to your friends about holding these companies accountable, whether that's an AI company or any other company, Starbucks. If Starbucks wasn't doing the right thing, it's up to us to kind of, hold them accountable.
Exactly. Then that would put the ball in their court, and it wouldn't be on us if they didn't change something. Right now, we could be sitting here in complete dread and doom and gloom and fear of what's to come. But if we don't do anything and we sit in that paralysis, then it's probably going to be our fault if something doesn't change, because they're just doing it and going la-di-da-di-da, it happened.
Nobody cares, you know.
Right.
We do care. We care.
We care so much.
We do. We're on a podcast talking about it.
Exactly. I was like, we formed a podcast. We care. But that's so great. We hope that you care, and you continue to care, and continue to follow along with us, and continue to take something from what we talk about, or even like, tell us what you want us to talk about too.
Please.
We have forms in our link tree. Please fill them out. Let us know what you want to hear about, or maybe something that you heard in the news that you're like, well, I don't really know what this is, but I don't really trust these people are telling me the right thing. Talk to us.
Please do. Continue to care. Caring is cool.
Hashtag caring is
Hashtag
cool.
caring is cool. You're about to see it. Y'all don't even know. Y'all are about to see it. Hashtag caring is cool.
Well, we'll see you next time, guys.
See you next time. Keep caring.